Hey, welcome back to Restauranttopia. Sitting here with Brian and Dave. How
Hey,
you guys
buddy.
doing?
Good.
How are you?
No, I'm great. It's sitting at this table feels great. It's been a while, fellas.
Oh,
Glad to see we're back on track and
this
we're
is
getting
good
things
stuff.
rolling again.
It's good stuff.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to talk today a little bit about the mindset you need to have today, at least I think, in today's labor market. And I think the title of the show should be called "Your Employees Are More Like Customers Than You Think." I had a discussion with Jill Raff from Nation's Restaurant News on some of her live feed not too long ago. No, I'll put the title of it out there for people to check it out. She puts out really, really good content and articles, as you guys know.
She's good, yeah.
Yeah, we shared them quite a few times. Should be on Restauranttopia hopefully soon too.
Okay.
So anyway, she's got some really great perspective on this sort of thing. And we went down the rabbit hole of this conversation, and it really clicked with me that, and I apologize to anybody out there who has said this in the past, but I get kind of tired when I hear people say that people out there don't want to work anymore. And I can't help but think it's like,
Get off my front lawn.
Yeah, I know. It's the saddest. Like,
can I break it down?
it's like a tell. It's like,
because I can tell you have a terrible culture and you treat your employees like crap.
yeah, it's
That's it.
They're a victim.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at it as like you in any business, right? You constantly have to evolve. Evolution is essential.
Yeah.
And I look at the folks who are saying that, and they're not willing to compromise their business model or their workflow to appeal to the people that they need. They want the people to fit into their mold, and that's not the case anymore. The restaurant employee has changed it drastically since the pandemic. I think we all know it was a great expediter and a rebirth and a great resignation and all that jazz.
Can I drop on one that
100%.
I heard recently that just blew my mind?
Yeah.
Stop looking for amazing people.
Yeah.
Create a place that attracts amazing people.
100%.
oh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Can we,
good.
can we end the episode there?
Yeah, that's good. I like.
Right.
So we're done. Thank you, everyone. Like, that's really good. Like,
So I didn't phrase it so cleverly, but we will talk about that a little bit. So essentially,
Hey, do you know the Buffalo Bills missed a field goal wide right?
no idea. I couldn't tell you. I don't even remember that happening.
right.
And the reason why I say they're more like customers, because it's not like the employee's always right. We know that's a fallacy, right? But the fact is, you have to market to employees just like you do customers. And going off of what you just said there, Dave, that's exactly right. You have to create a space they want to be in, right?
Yeah.
It seems pretty commonsensical. We all agree with it. But do you guys see it happening?
Yeah, I think I look at the kind of conundrum or issue or whatever you want to call it with finding great talent as, are you running the Subway where you don't have a real GM, no company culture, and you just take every warm body that comes in the door? Or are you creating a place where people want to work in a culture that people want to be around and in an environment that is fun and exciting?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And wholesome and loving and caring and nurturing and education, all those things you got to do, right?
Yeah.
But starting from scratch, you got to market to these employees. You can't just throw an ad up on Craigslist anymore. It doesn't work. You got to tell them why they want to work there. You got to really, identify what the key tenets and core tenets of your business and your value proposition, and then live up to it. You can't just, put it out there because everybody put that bullshit online, right? But you actually have to walk the walk when they show up.
As a pro tip, where are you putting ads at?
I'll be honest with
in
you,
this
the
market?
one that I'm seeing that's working the best is still Indeed. Indeed's changed the game a little bit, but here's the deal. You have to spend money. There's not a hack around it. If you want 5 applications, 5 resumes, don't spend any money. If you want 40 that are actually legitimate, where you get 10 that you would actually interview, you got to spend a few $100.
Yeah.
And I will say the flyer and the to go is good too.
Not a bad, listen, the word of mouth stuff never gets old in any kind of marketing you're doing, right? It's always effective. But if you want quicker results, you got to throw out a wide net, and there's no wider net than the internet's and Google's. It's going to happen quickly, right? And a lot of prospective employees are still on there. At least that's what I'm hearing and seeing. So anyway, you got to market to these folks. You got to sell them on your business as to why they want to work there. And this is especially prevalent during the interview process. You really have to profess that sort of thing. But again, it's one thing to talk it. You have to walk it. Marketing your job openings where these employees dwell. And going back to what you were saying, Brian, find out where these people hang out, where they congregate, both digitally and in real life, and market there. Let's not just like blast it out. Indeed is one of those spaces. Facebook may or may not be one of those spaces, right?
But you can, you can target too. So if you
Great point.
the people who like your spot, are wine connoisseurs, then I'm not saying you're looking for a sommelier, but like you want someone that has some wine experience that enjoys wine, then, maybe you focus on, campaigns. And that's maybe a stupid example, but what I'm trying to say is you can start to target groups of people on Facebook with a very finite, narrowed, tailored campaign that won't cost you a lot, but will actually get you job posting in front of the eyeballs that will probably be a good fit for this.
Yeah, what's interesting here is what you're unpacking here is what I'm trying to say too, and you did it better than I did, is that you have to find that intersection of human resource management and marketing.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that. It's the cross streets.
Yep, that's it. That's it, And you gotta compare yourself to the competition, right? And that's the thing, is it's not just about pay anymore, but what are you offering as an establishment that's above and beyond what your competition is offering?
Yeah, is it a cool place to work?
That's exactly right.
I think that has a huge aspect of attracting talent.
No question.
Now you still have to keep them, but is it a cool place to work?
Mm-hmm. It's not just about the physical layout of the building. That could be cool. That could not be cool. But the people is really what it boils down to.
The people, the concept, the culture. Like, are you a Subway, or are you something else?
Is the person excited to talk about where they work?
Yeah.
Or are they keeping it from people?
Yeah.
There's that too.
Like, and what do they say? Are they raving fans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just, it's a job. Like, oh man, like that's, you want people to hire their friends.
Every human being that encounters your restaurant is a potential customer.
No question.
It could be an employee, a purveyor, whatever.
But what we're talking about here is very congruent with the exact same way you appeal to customers. And that's what I'm trying to unpack here, is like you can take that mindset, shift it over to employees, and all of a sudden you got something. So it's not enough to get them in the doors. Now you got to retain them. Same with customers. You get them one time, you got to audition for the next visit, right? And so you got to remember, just as I said in a previous episode, that every visit a customer has is an audition for their next visit. I would argue with the employee, every day is an audition for their next day, right? And it's not to the same degree, but it matters, right? So how you treat your folks, how you present yourself in front of your folks day in and day out matters tremendously as far as how long they stay with your company. So appealing to them, right? When it comes to customers, what do? They come in, they get what they want, right? So you got to do that to a certain degree with your employees as well. Now listen, you're not spoiling them. That's a fool's errand. We know that. So I said congruent, not exactly, right? That's how it goes. Recognition is important, Dave, as you said earlier. Babies cry for it, grown men die for it. Super, super important.
Wow, that was good.
You quoted that perfect.
Yeah.
Things stick with me, buddy. When you're a profound sage, such as Dave.
Look at that.
Yeah. Rewards, right? Like loyalty programs, rewards, they work with employees as well. Certain bonuses and bigs, that sort of thing.
What about an adjustable hat? No?
I prefer it over a fitted hat.
Well, it depends. A flex fit or a regular fit? Because flex fit's awesome.
I have a weird head size because I'm in between sizes. Yeah. So I can't, a fitted hat I will not buy because I can't get one that fits me right.
Oh, I have a very large head. And
I think we all do. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, for some reason, whenever I get a fitted hat, like, it feels fine, but like within a month, it's either too tight, I got a headache, or...
Well, I'm 100% on the fitted hat thing. I didn't know anyone wanted an adjustable.
I like the adjustable.
Yeah.
Really?
That's fair. Either way. But anyway,
this is blowing my mind.
Like a trucker hat, adjustable.
Yeah,
mesh back.
Same.
Okay.
I've been hooked on those for a year now.
I like the new era large medium hat, or maybe it's large extra large. I don't know. I get them by the dozens.
Do your employees have hats?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's wild. And to that point, all jokes aside, when you show up with a fresh batch of t-shirts straight from the printer with some new hats and a new logo, and they're a good brand, people get stoked about that.
Yeah. But good brand, good feel, stuff you would wear,
Yeah.
not the cheapest thing you can find. So you have something to give. If that's something you're doing for your employees, is providing those types of things, do it the right way. Get the right stuff. Spend a little bit more money, because they're actually going to maybe wear it outside the restaurant.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine you have all these mini walking billboards.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly right. So anyway, to carry on, we're talking about retaining, just like you would staff, or just like you would guests. Taking an invested interest in them. I call this like the table touch with your staff, right? As a manager, when you're walking around, and certainly we've unpacked this before. But if you stop by and say, "Hey, Dave, how's the family?" Right? And I'm your superior. Chances are you look up to me to a certain degree. You want to work for me, and I start taking a vested interest in you, and then we find some sort of relatability.
Yeah.
And I might have said this before too, but I'm a firm believer that relatability is that common ground that we find. And then all of a sudden, if we have that common ground, say we both like the Buffalo Bills or the same music, now we have a common thread to talk about all the time. And with that comes likability. Because something happens in the news and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell Dave this. Right? Or I can't wait to tell Anthony this. And then with likability comes respect. Really, really, really easy. It's a beautiful thing. And if you have mutual respect, all of a sudden you have stickiness, right?
Yeah, and there was a conference that I was at that I spoke to in a different episode that they were talking about employee morale. And the bullet point was remember. So when I know Anthony's got a dog that was sick because we had a conversation, when I see him next week, am I saying, "Hey, Anthony, how's your dog doing?"
I
You know what I mean? Like that,
I think
like that type of stuff.
I think we don't talk about
It's
that enough.
overlooked
I
so
don't think
much.
we talk about it enough. I agree. I think you need to be conscious of that. And again, you're a good human. You're not like self-centered asshole, but we all are a little self-centered as far as our own personal lives. And we're not asking enough about people. We're not bringing stuff up. If the person's, mom is sick or how's that new baby? Like all the good things, good and bad things. Like people, sometimes just want to be heard, and it's tough out there.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm lucky because maybe I'm lucky, but I really like to be liked, and I'm not sure if you guys are the same way. But it's very, very important to me to be liked.
I'm not familiar with the feeling.
Yeah. I made myself vulnerable here. I'd appreciate it if you guys didn't smack me.
Okay.
But it's always come.
You have high likability.
I would say that.
I appreciate that.
So
Especially coming from the career and the time in your career.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because most people that are your age and who did what you did are assholes.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I tried not.
I would say that's accurate. Yeah.
Right?
I would say that's accurate. Yeah. And have a leadership style that is a lot more military than
Well, that's
do.
the way I was brought up. I broke that cycle. I didn't appreciate it. One day I had a revelation. It was just kind of like, well, I don't want to be perceived like the guys, the leaders I respected. I didn't like the way they treated me, but I respected them for their craft. And I was like, can't I be respected for my craft and be liked? Because that'd be a really nice place to be for everybody, right? No one's walking on eggshells.
And sometimes you have to have that bad experience to realize what you don't
Correct.
want to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where all my good stuff comes from. It's a Captain Silver Lining over here.
Yeah, and I think multi-generational trauma just takes that one person to feel it, and then they can stop that.
You do not have to perpetuate the cycles of
correct.
abuse.
Yes,
There's
correct.
a future for your son.
No, he has to be the one to man up. But I'm teaching him just like my father taught me. Like, hold the fucking flashlight, or I'm going to freak out. Like
Get your hands out of your pockets.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this, you're not allowed to have your hands in your pockets. Like, and you're here to work. Not
This will make the episode. But my son has this thing with his hands when he's doing stuff. So he's playing flag football.
Yeah.
And they're at a practice and they're doing sharks and minnows.
Yeah.
And he's got his hands in his pockets as he's running around, and he's pulling them out, and then he's putting his hands in his pockets. I'm like screaming from the side, like, "Get your hands out of your pockets!"
Yeah. Mine when my son was that age, elbows in.
Oh.
Like run like this, not like elbows in.
You're making us look bad.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out.
We look bad as a unit. The whole Sykes family looks terrible because of the way you run.
Were you there?
That's exactly what I said.
So anyway, to continue on this path, man, we talk about the table touch with your customers so much. Table touching with your staff, again, to take that vested interest in them. Also to check in with them, see how they're enjoying things. As an operator, to sit down with those one-on-ones, a new hire after 2 weeks, and say, hey, what are you enjoying about the place? What don't you like about the place?
What could we have done better in training you?
Right.
I love that.
Or what can we change right now? You know, what sucks about the job? Because I want to eliminate everything that sucks, right? So...
Or just come to the realization this is part of the job.
Well, right. You can't be a pushover either.
Yeah.
No, firm affair.
But so
We're gonna not clean the fryer for 6 months. Like, well, no, that's that's part of the.
Listen,
that's part
you
of the,
can never get kindness and weakness confused.
Correct.
There's a significant difference.
Correct.
There's a very strict line between the two of them. So you got to be as kind as possible. But once you cross that line, it's there's no weakness on the other side. You're going to see the firmness.
Yeah.
Dr. Jordan Peterson showed up.
Yeah. I think structure. I think structure is necessary. Like this. These are my standards. This is what I expect.
And I think people actually desire that. I think people actually desire. They want those boundaries. They want those things.
Come on.
100%. Next up to another consideration you got to think about is loyalty perks, just like you would with your customers. Is there sign-on bonuses or stay-on bonuses, or are there carrots that your staff can achieve when they're motivated, right?
Yeah.
The proverbial dangling carrot is real, but if they can never get the carrot, it doesn't work, right? We know that.
Well, I mean, I think off the air, I gave the example of the empty promise or the promise that's never fulfilled.
Yeah. It's a great way to demoralize your staff.
Yeah, it's toxic.
And they walk out.
Then they walk out.
In droves, even, as we've learned. Next up, be flexible, right? For crying out loud, people have lives. And I always go back to, you should want your restaurant to be a part of their life, not their whole life, right? Your operation. Yeah. And I think the newer generation coming up is not interested in sacrificing the entirety of every weekend, every night, every holiday to fulfill your budgetary needs, right? So I know this is a tough one.
No, it's true.
There is some wisdom there. And I think the operators I see that have the most luck are flexible. So maybe they're staffed a little heavy and you know, it's a tricky dynamic because I understand what everybody's going to say in rebuke of this, but the fact is you got to be flexible or else they're just going to call off. Yeah. So you might as well lean into it. Right?
No call, no show. But I think Gary Vee said this the best, and he was talking about an employee, and it's like, they're not the owner. This restaurant is your life. Yeah. It is not their life.
Right? The owner's expecting the employees to feel about the business the same way they do.
Right. Like, never going to happen.
No chance. Yeah. Why would they do that? Like, and I think something that you've talked about multiple times, Anthony, that I think is really helpful is the flexibility in scheduling.
Yeah, sure.
And using technology to achieve that.
Yeah, it's a scheduling software is out there. Mm-hmm. And it helps you stay on budget. It helps you keep track of requests off everything else. And it's, again, to the technology we were talking about earlier, it's relatively inexpensive considering what you get, right?
Yep.
So that being said, it's funny you said they're not the owners. So my next bullet point is allow them to take ownership. But
just not actual ownership.
Right. No, allow them to take ownership of their space, right? Give some autonomy. If you're micromanaging these people, it goes back to, and I'm sure this cliche has been around for years, but it's like, why do you hire smart people and not let them be smart? Mm-hmm. If you're hiring amazing people, be a servant to them as a leader. You're like, of course, you have the framework of your business you want them to operate on, but damn it, these people have tons of experience. That's why you're paying them a lot of money. And guess what? They wowed you in the interview because they're smart and they're insightful. Allow them to do that within your operation. And not only will your operation improve, but your quality of staff will improve and stay longer, right?
And if you have really good athletes that have a ton of experience, get feedback from them. You said it earlier, Dave, like get that feedback from them because there could be part of your operation that you could improve on that you're like, why do we do this? You know, the Achilles heel of we've always done it this way.
Right.
Like, well, that's horrible.
Yep. And then last but not least, deliver on your promises.
Deliver.
Right? How many times do we say, hey, if you keep doing a good job, you get a promotion, or hey, this, that, and that happened, and then you're not in a position to do it. I always go back to The Office. So you guys ever watch The Office?
Oh, yeah.
Scott's Tots, that episode where he promised them all college tuition.
Yeah.
And his career did not go. They were like in third grade.
That's so good.
Listen, they all stayed in school. They all graduated. And they called him one day, hey, we all graduated. It's time for you to come, talk to us about our tuition. The whole class stayed. One of the most awkward episodes ever, but it really kind of exudes the power of not delivering on your promises. Yeah. And it can be something as simple as when you hire an employee on and they need 30 hours a week to live and you're only giving them 20 hours because of your labor budget. It's like, well, you should never agree to those terms. Mm-hmm, right. If you want someone to quit, there's no quicker way than to hit them in their pocketbook. Or now they can't pay their rent. Why would they show up to work or go get another job?
Yeah. And I think you have to be aware of that, but it's building amazing teams is identifying the players and making sure that you're providing them with enough hours, but also having that flexibility, that overlap, and to keep.
Well, I think it's more the point of would you sign up? Like if in the interview process, the guy's like, "Hey, I really need 30 hours a week," and you're, "Oh, that's cool." 2 months later, he's not getting it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised, right?
But and having the dialogue. Mm-hmm. But if he's not getting it for a reason, and having the radical candor, maybe I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but like, hey, I'm giving you 20 hours.
Things can change.
Yeah,
right? So
I'm giving 20
not
hours.
Addressing it.
Yeah.
Not addressing this work, just pretending it's okay.
Like, hey, I know we talked about 30, but some stuff changed. Here's the situation. Like,
no, but your performance is making me only give you 20 hours. Well, that's where I was going with it.
The fact that you call off so many times, I can't depend on you.
Yeah. So it's not always, you got to have accountability on both ends.
So it's like, hey, look, if you step up, then you get those hours back. Right. That's fine. That's a healthy conversation. But ultimately what it boils down to is it's labor expense. It should be more in line with the labor investment. The more you put in your staff emotionally and financially, the return is going to be huge, right? And on your own end, both financially and emotionally. Yeah. Helps you sleep at night. You have smart people running your organization and they're all sticky and they're having a good time. It just feels better as an operator. Makes it much easier to sleep at night.
I love it. This is good stuff.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Another great episode. You can find the show notes on restauranttopia.com.
Check it out. Share it with a friend.
That'd be a good idea.